Well, 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 good evening, everyone. It's May 3rd, 2020 at 9 p.m. Central, and we are live for episode 3 of Rangers Cast. Tonight, I'm joined by my good friend, MacAttack. MacAttack is a Twitch affiliate who combines his love of gaming and craft beer. He drinks and reviews different beer every time he streams, usually playing Elder Scrolls Online. He's also an avid home brewer who has brewed many different styles of ales over the last 6 years. Mac, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for accepting my invite. I can't talk tonight, man. I don't know what's going on. No, I appreciate
it's the end
you.
of the weekend. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on. It's kind of like a fledgling little podcast that we got going on here. It's something that I wanted to do, with friends.
Yeah.
Just no like set like theme. I didn't want like an Elder Scrolls podcast. I didn't want a Fallout podcast. I just wanted something where friends can talk on and we can literally just bullshit about whatever for an hour or two and, enjoy some beers and have a good time. So,
that's the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
sometimes those like really hyper specific podcasts, like the market can be really saturated.
It can be, yes. You're absolutely correct, and not knocking any of those guys for sure.
Oh no, absolutely not. They're all great at what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, current events.
Yeah.
So we got, COVID. That's I feel like that's been talked about so much in the news and stuff right now. I don't want to beat that dead horse. But something that kind of struck my interest lately. So a few months ago, the Navy, or not the Navy, the videos from the Navy were leaked a few months ago of those unidentified flying objects, UFOs. And they were cool, they were floating around the internet for a little bit, and everybody was like, oh, and it didn't really get too much attention. Some people were talking about it, but it didn't really get hyped up until recently. The last week, when the Pentagon officially was like, okay, those videos that were leaked, it's a thing, and we don't know what the heck it is.
Right.
And so they
when
showed
the Pentagon says, we don't know what this is, I think that's when everyone's like, wait, what? The Pentagon knows what everything is.
Yeah, well, how do you not know what this is?
We expect the Pentagon to know what an object flying through the air is.
For sure. And it was the videos were pretty intense. That those objects were moving like nothing that we have should move. I mean, it was zipping and zooming.
Exactly. Nothing that I've ever seen. Like, sometimes you can look at these proposed UFOs and just know that's a drone or that's a balloon or something, Well,
because it's stuff that we have. We know how it moves. Like, we know how a drone moves. We know how a balloon moves.
Exactly, yeah.
It's...
Right,
it's
we come at everything with this mind, like, that's how something should be.
Yeah.
So and same with the whole flying saucer. That's what us humans perceive all alien spacecraft has to be a circle, and that all has to be metallic. It fits this mold, and if it doesn't, then we don't know what it is. That can't. What would that be? It's not a flying saucer. It can't. Only aliens fly in flying saucers. Everybody knows that. Haven't they watched the movies from the 50s?
I know, right? It's crazy. Yeah. So, Mike, here's my question to you: Do you believe in aliens? Do you think that there's something out there? Someone?
Yes, because if there are an infinite number of galaxies, there's got to be another planet in one of those galaxies that is similar to Earth. Now, when I say, like, are there aliens? Do they look like little green men, or do they look like us? I don't know, but there's got to be a planet out there that has some life on it, and that life would be technically an alien, right? So I think there's too many possibilities.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty selfish of us to sit here and think like, we're it. That's it. There's nothing else like us.
Exactly. Yeah,
because
that would be closed-minded of us to think that way.
Because they say that the Earth sits in the Goldilocks zone. That's perfect for our type of life. It's what obviously Venus and Mercury are just way too damn hot. Mars is a combination of the both. We're right here in the zone where everything just kind of is able to materialize and become. And I'm sure there's other planets that are in that zone now. This is getting super specific, but when a solar system forms, I'm sure it's not like a cookie cutter design. There's gonna be 8-ish, 9-ish, 10 planets, and they're all gonna be evenly spaced, and I'm sure it's just they're at the mercies of the cosmos. But there's gotta be one planet, at least one, that also has fallen into the same kind of sweet spot to where it's life is able to become. I think there's got to be something out there.
Yeah, there's got to be something. Yeah, I don't know if they have like this hyper technology, that they're able to travel, through space and time and come to visit Earth and abduct us or anything like that. But there's probably life on some planets somewhere.
Yeah,
if space is limitless, and the possibility of however many galaxies and planets, I would have to assume there somewhere out there is life. Now, I don't know if there is an exact carbon copy of MacAttack who loves drinking beer with his friends on that planet. I don't know. If there is, I hope he has Discord, and I hope he sends me a friend invite.
That is a whole nother, because there's people that believe that there are 4 to 5 copies of us exactly out there, but that's a rabbit hole. That's a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I'm falling for that one, but
yeah. I mean, I've looked at it. I'm like, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for conspiracy theories. I'm not saying I believe all of them, or really any of them, but I like to look at things. Now, this with the UFOs and stuff, like, if you want to talk about the technology, if you're into conspiracies, some people say the Nazis were working on dark matter energy, zero gravity. What's the term I'm looking for? Like, some people say the Nazis were there, and that's why it was a mad dash for their scientists after, not because of the nuclear bomb, but because of other stuff. It was a mad dash for their scientists between us and Russia after the war was won, because we knew and Russia knew, those scientists knew something that no one else knew. And that's why, you have a lot of Germans and stuff working on in the space program. And all that stuff going forward. So anyway, it's getting tangenty, but I think with the point I was trying to get at with that is, some people think it's just another government, or it's our government, and it's, everything's so compartmentalized in the government anyway. It could be a part of the government that, the Navy, those Navy pilots don't know anything about. And, the Pentagon may know about it, but they're not going to say, hey, this is us testing this technology, because that would compromise.
And I was just going to say that. Like, I don't know. The Pentagon, in all honesty, probably knows exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But if, like you said earlier, the videos had already been released. They had already made the rounds, and everyone had seen it and, freaked out about it. So, the Pentagon probably knows what it is, but they'll just tell everybody, like, who knows, it could be anything.
But, because if it is our stuff and they say what it is, that's that could be a breach to national security. We're giving out our secrets. Or
exactly,
if they know it's another government, they don't want to incite panic, especially right now when everybody's already panicking.
Like, right now is the worst possible time, because everyone is already kind of freaking out about, for good reason. People are really worried and have a lot of anxiety about the coronavirus situation. And so all of a sudden aliens are here. Can you imagine the what would happen to the public if that happened?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
if you think toilet paper is a problem, now wait till we say aliens are coming, because then you're really gonna want to
right.
wipe your ass.
Like, if the Independence Day mothership is on, like, hanging out on the other side of the moon right now, and the government knows about it, do you think they're gonna tell us? They're gonna keep that under wraps for as long as possible, at least until we get through this coronavirus thing.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. I, it's I want it really bad to be aliens. For some reason, like I would love it to be like, hey, yeah, they visited and they're hanging out with us right now. But I think the most logical explanation is it's probably us testing some stuff, and those pilots were just like, what the fuck is this? We don't know what this is.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah.
there's also an unconfirmed report of, like, it was a few years ago. I can't remember exactly when. Like, I guess at the Chicago airport, and this was back. No, it was a long time ago. This was 2005 or 6. I guess at the Chicago airport, it was an overcast day, and I guess out of the, it was a pretty low cloud ceiling too. And there's like an old flip phone video, because like 0506, I think flip phones with the cameras were the best we had, so it wasn't great. But I guess a saucer fell through the cloud ceiling, and the video's somewhere. I've seen the original video a long time ago, but now every time I go to look for it, it's obviously fake now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of accounts of this saucer falling through the cloud ceiling, hovering there for a minute, and everybody saw it. Like, everybody that were taxiing on the tarmac and the airport, everybody saw it. And the one guy got his phone out to record it, and it just shot back up through the clouds, and nobody saw it ever again. Yeah. And an official statement.
I remember this, actually, now that you mention it.
An official statement that was put out about it. It was a weather anomaly, and that they left it at that. And everybody just they're like, okay, cool. And nowadays, if anyone shows a video or anything, it's automatic. I mean, it's so easy to fake stuff on the internet. You can. I mean, you've seen those deep fake videos.
Oh my gosh, yeah!
It's
crazy how
it's celebrities' faces on. It looks real and convincing. You're like, oh yeah, that's that for sure. But no.
And also, like, so I used to, before I do what I do now professionally, I used to work in television. I worked in local television production. And so I know probably more than most that if it's on television, it's fake. Everything on television is fake.
Yeah.
Like, live news is not fake, but everything else on television is fake.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, that has been edited or altered in some way. You can almost guarantee.
Yeah, for sure. It's, I'd love to believe, like, everything on the internet I take with a grain of salt now. I'm like, I mean, if you can make me look convincingly like Tom Cruise, and have the voice sound just like Tom Cruise. I'm sorry, I'm not Tom Cruise. Like, look at me. I'm at best a Drew Carey in his early days. I mean,
I don't know. Don't be so hard on yourself. You can pull a Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but like anything on the internet's fake now. I mean, we could be fake right now for all. I could be altering all this, and you could be an alien.
Maybe I'm the alien.
I'm deep-faking you as a human right now.
Yeah, that's probably it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, but I think these videos these videos are obviously legit. But to close out this part, I think I want it to be aliens, but I'm pretty sure it's either our government or maybe the Canadians testing out some dark matter gravity technology or something.
All right, so let's just play the not really devil's advocate, but so if it is aliens, what kind of alien do you want it to be? Do you want it to be an alien species from the movie Alien? Do you want it to be an alien from, like, District 9? Do you want it to be Men in Black aliens? Like, as far as danger, are we in a lot of danger with these aliens? Do you want there to be some kind of a threat so it's exciting? Do you want it to be just this is just a reconnaissance mission. We're going to go back to our alien ship and tell all of our friends that, Earth's got its own situation going on right now. Let's leave those people alone. Yeah, what kind of aliens are you hoping for? Best case scenario.
I don't want aliens. I don't want like the xenomorphs from Aliens, because that's terrifying. Like,
okay, yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
If we're talking the Aliens franchise, though, have you ever seen Prometheus?
I haven't watched the whole thing. I've seen parts of it.
So the Prometheus, and it's the sequel after that. God, what was that called? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this.
Yeah, I am too.
Anyway, there was kind of like they were very humanoid, and they were like us, and they were called the Engineers, I think, and they engineered the xenomorphs as a weapon.
Okay.
But the Engineers is what I would be okay with that, but like the xenomorphs or like the predators from nothing crazy that's gonna like no War of the World stuff, because that's
I am gonna counter that. Like Predator, I have no problem with Predator because I think he's a little misunderstood. Like Predator sort of only fought humans who were violent towards him. Like he was hunting, so he's looking for good prey. So humans who were of no threat, he was not interested in.
That's true. I mean, Predator 1, yeah, I can see that, because that was just a wrong place, wrong time for both of them. Wrong place, wrong time for those. What were they? Green Berets? I think they were Green Berets. And the Predator, like he was just out in the jungle hunting, and they just happened to be, it was wrong place, wrong time. And then, Predator 2,
and
same with Danny Glover, man. He was just a detective in Los Angeles trying to do his thing, and it just ended up.
Poor Danny Glover, man.
I know,
Can't catch a break.
Oh man. Anyway, I want aliens to be real. I really do. But let's get into the meat and potatoes tonight. I think we're gonna try a beer, aren't we?
Yeah, we sure are. I hope so. I brought one.
I brought one too. Could you kind of lead us on this here? Kind of start us off.
Absolutely.
Talk about the beer we're gonna taste test. That we're gonna review. Just kind of the helm is yours, good sir.
Okay. All right. Well, feel free to cut me off whenever, because I can ramble when I'm talking about beer. But the beer that we will be sharing tonight is from Dogfish Head Brewing Company, which is out of Delaware. And it is 90-minute IPA. It's an Imperial IPA.
Okay.
And I can get into what that means. And I'll go ahead and actually read you what the bottle has to say. Our continually hopped Imperial IPA, whose powerful malt backbone stands up to the extreme hopping rate for a pungent, not crushing hop flavor. So there's a couple of terms in that we can break down as we go. But 9%.
I know what pungent is, but I'm curious as to what not crushing means.
Yeah,
I know what I've had pungent hops before, but
right.
Crushing,
I think not crushing. I think they're kind of referring to like your taste buds. Like the hops and the bitterness of this beer isn't going to ruin your mouth. It's not going to completely destroy your taste buds. I think that's what they're talking about.
Okay.
So if we go ahead and we pour this beer into a glass, proper glassware is important. Let me just state that. Try not to have your glass too cold. I know a lot of people like frosted mugs. That's actually not good for the flavor of beer.
Okay.
Whenever the mug is too cold and the beer is too cold, it cuts down on both the aroma and the flavor of the beer. So you're not getting the full experience that the brewers intended you to have whenever it's too cold.
Okay.
So
your glass looks different than mine. Does that matter? I have just your standard pint glass.
Yeah, that shouldn't really matter. This has a little bit of the bulge right there.
Mm-hmm.
This is typical to drink an IPA with any kind of ale. This is like a traditional ale glass, really.
Okay.
And IPAs are ales. That's, IPA stands for India Pale Ale.
Okay.
This is another fun fact. So there are only two real kinds of beer, ales or lagers, and all beer styles fall into those categories.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you said a lager and
Ale.
ale. Okay. So this is obviously
Yeah.
an ale.
This is an ale.
Yeah.
And a lot of that depends on the yeast, essentially. So there is ale yeast and there is lager yeast, and they do different things. They ferment at different temperatures, and they do different things to the beer. So that's why we have kind of those two distinct kinds of beer, and then all styles fall into those categories, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and pour this bad boy into the glass.
Okay.
I always would recommend a glass, pouring your beer out into a glass, just because there could sometimes be, not really contaminants, but sometimes you could get some metallic taste if you're drinking out of a bottle because it has a cap on it, or not very often, but you can get a metallic.
Do you do the aggressive pour, or do you go for the Iceman pour?
I do sort of an aggressive pour at the start to really get that foam going, and then I kind of slow off towards the end.
Okay.
Because you want a good, robust head on it.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to overflow, obviously.
Okay.
So actually, this is my pour. I should hold it up. So a nice, robust head on it.
Okay.
And what that does is it allows the beer to sort of aerate, and it lets out a lot of the aromas.
Yeah. So one thing that I know a lot of people get upset when there's a lot of head with the beer, but that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing to an extent. Obviously, you don't want to have like an absurd amount of head, because that was just a beer that wasn't poured very well. But you do want a little bit of head on a beer. That's healthy.
Yeah. So that's what mine looks like.
Yeah, if you don't have any head at all, then it could be flat, and that's a little worrisome because it's not going to let out, again, the full aroma of the beer, which is what the brewers intended you to smell.
While I'm at the bar and I sit there and I observe people, some people get upset, like they feel like they're being cheated because, oh, well, you gave me too much head. That's you're trying to cheat me out on beer. But I mean, if you're drinking a Bud Light, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and that's kind of a tricky game. I guess I don't mind if I have a decent head on my beer, but yeah, I think a lot of times when you go to a pub, you go to a brewery or something like that, and they pour you a beer, they're going to try to fill it as high as they possibly can to the brim to make you feel like you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And especially craft beers. Like if you're going to a bar and you're going to get a Miller Lite for $1 draft of Miller Lite, But if you're going to a nice craft brewery, that same amount of beer might be $6, $7. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense that, don't skip me on my beer, bro.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to get drunk, I mean, the Miller Lite dollar beers is where it's at.
Yeah.
I mean, but
that's where it's at.
There's a town real close to me now, because I recently moved. There's a town nearby me. Okay. It's called Salado. It's a small town. It's tiny, but they have a really everybody from the area goes there because it's very touristy. These breweries opened up, and actually I'm gonna show you. I got one right here if I can. I might be able to reach it. Hang on one second. I don't want to show everybody. I don't want to show everybody my my ass. Hang on. I have a mini fridge right here behind me. So this is from the brewery. They brew and can all their beers on site. It's, like I said, it's a tiny town, but it's called Barrow Brewery. It's actually where this can is from. Ooh, someone's ringing my doorbell. If you could, would you mind talking about the beer while I go check to see who's at the door?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just do some beer talk. I'll be right back.
Okay, I could do some beer talk. So before we start to to smell or taste the beer, we'll talk a little bit about the beer itself. So if you're not familiar with Dogfish Head Brewing, they kind of have two different IPAs that are their flagships. So they have 60-minute IPA and they have 90-minute IPA, which is what we're drinking. They also, in this series, have 120-minute IPA. And they are three very distinct IPAs. They're very different beers from one another. So 60-minute IPA is their more traditional IPA. And the 60, that stands for something. We'll get into that. So does the 90, so does the 120. Those numbers signify things. The 90-minute IPA is called their Imperial IPA, which once you get into the higher alcohol contents, then you can start adding imperial, the word imperial to things, or it could be double IPA. You might see double in place of imperial. They essentially mean the same thing. And then the 120-minute IPA would be like their triple IPA, which again just is kind of an alcohol content thing. So we're gonna drink the middle range, the Imperial IPA, the 90-minute.
So I was obviously at my front door, and I didn't hear anything about it. So isn't there one that's a little bit more than this one?
There is, yeah. So the 120-minute IPA.
Yeah, 120. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So those numbers signify different things. Mm-hmm. So 60-minute is your traditional IPA. Your 90-minute is your Imperial, and then your 120 is a triple IPA. And the 60 in 60-minute goes hand in hand with the alcohol content and also the IBUs. Same with the 90. So the 60-minute IPA is 6% alcohol content, 6% ABV, and also 60 IBUs. And IBUs are that stands for International Bittering Units. So the higher the number of IBUs, the more bitter your beer will be.
Okay.
So 90-minute, you could probably guess, is 9% ABV and 90 IBUs.
Okay.
So that's why we get that's the difference between 60 and 90. Some people don't really know, well, what is 60-minute? Why not 59-minute,
Well, I'm learning. I'm learning right now.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. I was like, one will get you drunker, maybe?
Yeah. That's true. That is true. You're not wrong. One will get you maybe drunk quicker. We'll say that.
Okay, drunk quicker, yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and smell the beer.
Okay.
Always try to smell your beer because that's part of it. That's all part of the experience. So this beer in particular, what am I smelling?
It hit my nose. I got a little too close.
If you stick your nose in the beer, that's maybe not good.
Okay.
But
I think we're good. Oh,
good.
I definitely smelled it.
He's back. All right, so you should probably smell hops.
Oh, yeah, I could. That is pretty much all I can smell.
You're going to get a nice mix of maybe some citrus, but also some earthy tones. And this beer has a really good malt backbone, so you're going to get some caramel. You're going to get some toffee, some biscuit kind of flavors coming through. You're going to get a little bit of...
But to be clear, they don't put biscuits and toffee into this during the brewing process.
That's correct. Yeah, they do not put any of those adjuncts in. All of those flavors come through it's called the grain bill. It's basically all of the different malts that they put together to brew the beer with.
Okay.
So that gives all of the malts give the beer its color and give the beer its partial flavor, but also hops obviously add a lot of flavor.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and give it a taste. Swirl it around a little bit.
It's hoppy.
It's hoppy right off the bat. You get a lot of hops. You get some bitterness, but you do get, and maybe you're tasting different things because everyone's taste buds are a little bit different. I do get a lot of caramelization.
That's like have you ever had a Mars bar?
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
I get that, like
It
that feeling of a Mars bar.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too big onto like super hoppy beers because I'm afraid it's
Yeah.
just gonna taste like pine cones. That's how I
Right.
like relate it. Like, okay, it's hoppy, it tastes like a pine cone. Like I am eating a Christmas tree, essentially.
Yeah.
But that's pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna take another sip.
Yeah, very smooth. And what Dogfish Head does is they call it continually hopping. That's kind of their coined term. And in the brewing process, you add hops at different stages of the boil
Okay.
to do different things.
Yeah.
So your hops that you would use to get to make the beer bitter, you would add those early on in the boil, and
Okay.
it really breaks down the hops and releases all of the alpha acids. And it's those acids, the alpha acids, that make the beer bitter.
Okay.
So then, like, kind of middle of the way through the boil, let's say you're boiling for an hour. So as soon as the wort gets up to boil, you would add your bittering hops. Maybe halfway through, so at like the 30-minute mark, maybe the 20-minute mark, you could add some hops as well that are a little bit less bitter. That's going to be your flavor hops. And then as the boil continues, you get down inside the 10-minute mark, then you would maybe add more hops. Those are going to be primarily your aroma hops because they're not going to have time to break down as much. So pretty much all you're getting is the smell. You're not getting much flavor or bitterness.
Well, now Rich Lambert,
But
Rich Lambert wants a beer, according to chat. So.
Oh yeah, definitely crack one open.
Go get one. Why? I mean,
Yeah.
you want one, go get one, Rich. I mean, we're not your parents, but I think you should be drinking too.
Right. I've got a couple more of these if he wants one. But yeah, so Dogfish Head, they do what they call continually brewing, or continually hopping, which is they add hops almost every minute. So
wow.
there's a lot of hops used to brew a batch of 90-minute IPA.
Okay. So that's why it's pretty strong with the hops then, because I've had IPAs where it's like the initial, you take a sip and the front kick to your teeth is hops, but after that it levels out to like almost almost like a juice. It's weird. Very citrusy, I guess is the way to explain it.
Yeah,
very
there's a lot of
citrusy after. Like I feel like, okay, bam, pine cone, segue, orange juice.
Yeah. And there are tons of different hop variants. So depending on the kind of hop that is used in the beer, you can get different flavors. So there's kind of they kind of classify them in two categories, at least here in the United States. So your more traditional hops are classified as East Coast hops or West Coast hops.
That I knew. I am learning a lot.
Yeah.
Chatting with you about this, but I knew that. I knew like the East Coast, West Coast. From what I understand,
so
West Coast is more experimental with their hops.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, West Coast is going to be citrus. East Coast is going to be more earthy, more piney, more resinous.
Okay.
And so now the new trend, I don't even know if I call it a new trend. It's been around for several years, but the New England style IPA, the hazy IPA, the haze craze.
That's my favorite.
Yeah,
right now.
those are very citrusy. It's kind of like orange juice. It looks like orange juice and can kind of even taste like.
There is, so I didn't know what hazy IPA was, because I kind of fell off the IPA wagon for a while.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you know these guys. I think it's just Craft Brew Channel. Yeah, so I think that's what the Craft Beer Channel is what their name is on YouTube. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so
I've heard of them actually.
Yeah, they're the Craft Beer Channel. I think they're from the UK. I'm 90% sure.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think they're British. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Craft Beer Channel, and they were talking about hazy IPAs, and I was like, oh, that sounds really good. Like, I want to try that. And they're who got me into it, and it was life changing because that to me that is a more enjoyable IPA to me. I like this. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. Like, I can enjoy this. Unfortunately, I only was able to get one of these at the store today. Um, because I was very last minute. We had this plan
Yeah.
for about a week and a half, and I waited till today to go try to pick it up, and I almost wasn't able to get it. It was literally the last one. The picture I showed on Twitter was literally the last one in the entire store that I had. So,
Well, that's just great RNG.
no, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The
That's what
RNG
that comes down to.
Jesus blessed me today.
The RNGesus, yeah.
Yeah, and but I like
There
this
is
is
a
good,
such thing
but
as a beer RNGesus, and I pray to him regularly.
and you
Or
know
her.
it's a good thing you do because it obviously helped me find it today.
Yeah.
But hazy IPAs, that's what I was telling. Like the hoppy kick in the mouth when you first take a sip, but it just tastes like oh, it's so good. Like
Mellows out.
Shiner is a Texas brewery. I don't you know what Shiner Bock
Yeah,
is,
I've had
right?
Shiner. Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
I've had
Shiner
Shiner.
Bock. So they do a lot of like other stuff which doesn't make it out to the rest of the U.S. Usually,
Yeah.
sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But they have a lot of like smaller brews that they do that just usually
Yeah.
stays in Texas, and they have a it's called a Wicked Juicy IPA from
Okay.
Shiner, and it's so good, so good. Like that, I swear by that thing. It's amazing.
So I love that almost every brewery in the United States now kind of has to have a hazy IPA or they're just not going to do business. Look, that's what people want right now.
Uh huh.
But the challenge is with those is they don't have a long shelf life. So it's hard. There's only a couple of the bigger breweries, like the national breweries, who are brewing them at a large scale and distributing them to different states because the peak time to drink a hazy IPA is like less than a month from their canning date.
Really?
Anytime after that, and the hop flavor really diminishes pretty significantly, pretty quickly. So yeah, the fresher the better. So if you go to a craft brewery, a lot of them have special can releases whenever they have a new hazy IPA. A lot of times they'll have a best by date, an enjoy by date printed on the can so that drink this baby fresh because it's not going to last long.
Okay. So I, here's my question. I've been waiting
Yeah.
to ask you this question till today.
Okay.
So me and my father-in-law, he brews. My father-in-law brews beer, and
Okay.
his beer that he brews is good. Him and I a couple of years ago did a project, and we were like, okay, we're gonna brew a beer. He was gonna teach me how to do it, and I helped. Um, but at the time, he was living in D.C.
Okay.
and just coming to Texas to visit, because he works in D.C. for he's a government contractor and stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, so he came out for the week, to see his wife, who's my mother-in-law, who lives with us. He came out for the week, and we were like, okay, we're gonna brew a. I was really into like Belgian whites.
Okay.
So I was like, I want to brew that. So he's like, all right, we'll brew that. So we did everything while he was there. The whole process, which I
Yeah.
can't even begin to explain it, but you know it. You know it. We did everything. Basically we did the day one process of brewing the beer, and then
Okay. That's where all the work is.
yep, and then we got it
Yeah.
into the thing to where we had to go let it sit and ferment. Is that the word to use?
Yep. That's it. Yep. You
So
ferment
we
it.
put in there and we're like, all right, that's done. And he's like, so he left. So he's like, all right. He told me what we needed to do. He's like, this is what you need to do at this time.
Okay.
And so me and my brother-in-law, we tried our best to do it. We were supposed to add. I'm gonna butcher this because I don't know the process, but when it came to the time to take it out, the fermenting jug of beer out,
Yeah.
we were supposed to add sugars or something, right? Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
So we
Yeah.
thought we did that, and then followed all the instructions, and then this was a few years ago, so it's really hazy. We did that, and then eventually got to the bottling. Anyway, we bottled it all up. Anyway, it never took off.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it just It never carbonized. It never did anything. I drank an entire bottle of it. It was just flat. Never got you drunk. Nothing. So I don't know where we went wrong.
Yeah.
But I think
So
we missed a step somewhere.
Okay, so whenever you added the sugar, and sorry, I missed your mic did cut out at one point, so I may have missed you say it. Did you add the sugar directly to the bottles whenever you bottled it, or did you just dump more sugar into the beer in the fermenter before you bottled it?
No, we didn't put it into the bottles. We put it into just the big vat of beer, and then bottle it after.
Okay, if you try it again, I would suggest adding little bits of sugar to the bottle.
Okay.
And then pouring the beer in that, and then the sugar. What that does is it kind of sparks fermentation again. It's called that's called bottle conditioning.
Yes, that's yeah. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, bottle conditioning. Yeah, so that it kind of kickstarts fermentation again, and that'll sort of get your carbonation up.
Okay. So
yeah, so next time try to add sugar to the bottles, add the beer in, seal it, and then it'll do its thing.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
but I homebrew as well, but I don't have to deal with that problem because whenever I carbonate my beer using CO2. So I don't have to add that. I don't bottle my beer whenever I brew. So I don't have to do that whole added step of adding sugar or anything like that. So whenever I take my beer out of the fermenter, I put it straight into the keg, and then a lot of home brewers do this. It's called crash carbonation, where you put the keg in your refrigerator, and then you like crank up the CO2 to an absurd pressure point, way higher than what your actual serving pressure would be, and that just that carbonates the beer in a matter of days instead of a matter of weeks. Like if you were to try to bottle condition your beer, it might take a week or it might take another month for that beer to be drinkable. If you crash carbonate with CO2 in a keg, you can drink that beer in a couple of days, really.
Okay, that's very insightful. Because I want to do it again. Because I remember you did a thing. This was probably a year to 2 years ago. I remember you did I think you did a couple Twitter videos. Maybe it was live of you brewing a beer. I think it was.
I did do that. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was like, man, I've done it, and it was interesting to watch it because you're like, you know what you're doing, so it was really cool to watch that. When was the last time you brewed your own beer?
Well, so the last time I brewed my own beer was actually in the fall. I was scheduled to brew a beer in March. And then literally that week was when all of the coronavirus closures started to happen. So so I was going to go pick up my ingredients from the homebrew shop. I have a homebrew shop near me that I get all of my supplies from. I was going to go pick up my stuff from them on Friday. Okay. And it was like that Tuesday that everything shut down where I live. So like I started working from home that day, and then the homebrew shop closed down. And actually I just got a message from him saying that next week he's going to start opening up again. So I have not been able to brew anytime soon.
Are you gonna pick it up
again?
Like
I'm home. I got nothing else to do, right? I should be brewing beer, but I can't get my hands on ingredients.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, hopefully you can do that. Soon. Yeah, hopefully you can get started on that soon.
I have kind of this series going with my family. So, for my nephew was born a couple years ago, I brewed a beer in his honor. It was a hazy IPA. Oh, when my wife and I we adopted our son 2 years ago. So after we adopted him and brought him home, I brewed a beer in his honor, which was a coffee milk stout. So milk for him and coffee for us. It turned out awesome. So the next beer I'm going to brew is for my niece, who was born back in the fall. So I'll probably do an Irish red for that one, I think. And then this summer, I have another niece who's going to be born, and I think I might try a rosé IPA. If you've ever had a rosé beer before,
never heard of it. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I might try to do one of those. So
can you mail beer? I was thinking about
You
that.
can. Yeah, you can mail beer. Yep.
Okay,
It's
because
not, I mean, you're not technically supposed to,
yeah,
but you can.
because I was in the grocery store today, and I have these left over because these are really good, and I saw a 6-pack of this, and I was like, man, I want to mail that to Mac because I think we could do a show. I have another episode of you and I trying this Texas brewed beer from Barrow,
Oh
literally
yeah,
like 5 minutes from my house. If I can mail this to you, and then you and I could
absolutely.
try it, I think that would make for a really interesting talk.
That would be a lot of
Well,
fun. I would love it.
you and
I
I
would
will
love
talk offline about that. That's something I want to do.
it. Okay.
Um,
Certainly. Yeah, I would love to.
yeah. So this is Evil Catfish IPA from Barrow Brewing in Salado, Texas. Really good. I
Nice.
love it. I'm actually gonna drink it here in a minute. Um. Anyway, brewing beer is hard. I will say that. Um.
Yeah, it
My
takes a lot of work.
so my father-in-law. I have two father-in-laws. My wife's father and then her stepfather. They
Okay.
both like brewing beer. They're both very similar people, and I love them both.
Yeah.
My father-in-law Doug, he brews it like the grains and all, the whole 9 yards. My
Oh, yeah.
father-in-law, Kevin, he does the like the shortcut one. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so all grain is the one where you get all of the different
Yeah,
yeah, all of the different grains really. Yeah, so you kind of build your recipe from scratch that way, and you
yeah,
can really get into the specifics and into the nitty-gritty whenever you do all grain brewing. That's what I do.
yeah.
And then extract is the other form of brewing where kind of all of that grains, all of those ingredients are just condensed into this syrup.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, the syrup, yeah.
Yeah, so that you can't really, I mean, I guess you can still do some unique stuff with the extract brewing, but you can be really creative with the all grain brewing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool.
that's where it's time consuming. So kind of anybody with like basic kitchen utensils can
Hmm.
brew a batch of beer with the extract way,
Yeah.
but you need some specialty brewing equipment if you're going to do all grain. So that's where it can be a pricey hobby.
So neither's bad, right?
Oh no, no, no. Yeah, extract brewing is definitely valid and it makes some really good beer. That's how I started. I
Okay.
brewed several batches of extract beer in my apartment, shortly after I graduated college, and
Yeah.
that's what got me into it. And then as I did that more, and it was a hobby that I really enjoyed doing, uh, then I started to make investments into the hobby and started to accumulate some actual brewing materials.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I mean, I think we can both a beer. Oh my god.
Cheers. 9%, everybody.
Hey, it's talking to me already. I think we can both agree that beers are good.
Yes.
And honestly, I've been wanting to do this with you for a while. Because, I was like, I love beer as much as he loves beer. I lurk your streams all the time. And I'm like, man, this dude just loves beer as much as me. And, I
Yeah.
think we've talked about it in the past. Like, hey, we should link up and do something. And it just never happened. It's been 3-4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Right. We have.
And we just, and nothing, literally nothing's happened until today. And it's been amazing. So,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you
Awesome.
for agreeing to do this.
No, I was so happy whenever I saw your request come through. And then the little note of maybe we could share a beer. That might be
Yeah,
fun. I was like, oh, I'm done. Let's do it.
that's literally what it's about. So,
Yeah.
beers are good, but video games are also good. What are you playing right now?
Yeah. So, Elder Scrolls Online is kind of my main game. I spend most of my
Of
time,
course.
yeah, I
Who
spend
doesn't?
most
Who
of my
doesn't
time
love
there.
ESO? I
Who
mean,
doesn't
we
love
got
it?
Molag Ball here. We
Yeah.
got the Greymore teas before we even knew what Greymore was, hanging on the
Yeah.
wall.
Awesome.
I mean, who doesn't love ESO?
Yeah. So I spend most of my time in Elder Scrolls Online, but I do play. I'm actually currently doing a Skyrim playthrough just to kind of reacclimate myself with the
Oh,
area
you
that
have to.
we're going to be exploring in Greymore.
I've done the same thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. We're not alone.
No, I think everybody has.
Just about. I think everybody has. I would actually be really interested to see how much sales of Skyrim have skyrocketed since the announcement of Greymore.
Oh, I'm
I
sure
think
they have.
I'm sure a lot of people have gone out to buy it. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
also playing. If I'm just like relaxing and chilling, not streaming, but I want to play a game, I'll do some of the real time strategy stuff, like the Total War series. Um, like right now, I'm playing a game called Thrones of Britannia. It's in the Total War saga. It's called. So it's not like a full on Total War series game, but it's made by the same developers, made by the same company.
Okay.
And the Thrones of Britannia is like it's the British Isles, so you get England, Scotland, um, Ireland, and then a couple of the other like little islands kind of in between those. And it's the Celts, the Britons, and the Vikings. Those are like your three factions that you can choose from.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. It's a fascinating time period, so I'm a huge history nerd. So if
Same.
I'm not playing a fantasy game, I'm probably playing a game that has some kind of historical element to it.
Yeah.
So like for example, the announcement of the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla game the other day, I got
Oh,
so
everybody's
amped
so
up.
hyped.
Oh, I cannot wait. That's going to be awesome.
I think, man, that's Assassin's Creed never really hit the mark for me, but they were
Okay.
slowly inching closer. And the last one, what was the last one? Odyssey.
The last one was Odyssey, yeah.
Yeah, and it was in Greece, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is getting more to where I like this because it's no secret I'm a huge Roman history buff. Like that's my jam.
Yeah.
Greece is close enough. I mean, Greece was it's there. But the new Assassin's Creed when on the world premiere, I was like, oh my god, this looks amazing. Like it looks crazy good.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
And I think some of the Assassin's Creed games are hit or miss, like I loved the first two.
Okay.
And then Assassin's Creed 3, which was in the United States during the American Revolution. So I wanted to love it because I'm fascinated with that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not enjoy that game. I thought they kind of missed it a little bit.
Okay.
But then when Assassin's Creed or what was it? They did Assassin's Creed 4, which took place in France during the French Revolution, and kind of universally that one was hated a little bit. And so
Okay.
I held off on getting that one because I didn't love Assassin's Creed 3, and then it was just everyone was just crushing the game, not loving it. So I actually didn't even play that one. But when Black Flag came out, they redeemed themselves completely. Black Flag is an astonishingly beautiful game.
I heard everybody loved that.
Real. I mean, if you're interested in Caribbean pirates and stuff like that, it is so much fun, and it's it's a visually stunning game to play.
Okay.
So,
So I got a question for you.
All right, yeah.
It's no secret that I have been playing Fallout 76 a lot lately. Have you ever tried Fallout 76?
I've never tried 76. I have played the Fallout single player games. And so I was hesitant to get into Fallout 76 at launch just because I was so heavily invested in ESO. I didn't think I had the time to get into another MMO.
Yeah, no, totally understand that.
But I watched a lot of Twitch streamers and people playing it and having a lot of fun. Like despite whatever flaws that it had at launch, these streamers were genuinely loving it and having a lot of fun, and so it looked like a cool space to play in.
Okay.
But I held off. I continued to hold off on it, and then I think I tweeted about this maybe, but whenever Chernobyl came out on HBO last summer,
oh, such a good show.
Such a good show, but all I wanted to do was play a Fallout game after watching that show. And I thought, man, maybe now's the time I should get into 76. But they had just announced the Wastelanders I don't, is it a DLC? Is it I don't know what they're calling it. I guess an expansion. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, okay. So here's the deal. I can't say it's a DLC. I can't say it's an expansion. It's honestly 100% a rework of the game and a re-release.
Okay.
And them giving it to you for free.
Yeah.
Because you don't, like, if you own Fallout 76, when you bought it back in the day, you get Wastelanders for completely free. It's literally just an update to the game. It's like when you shut your computer down at night and Windows 10's like, hey, I got an update. That's it.
Yeah.
Which was a good move on their part, because the game...
Definitely a good move, yeah.
I've played the game for a very long time, pre-Wastelanders. It was hard for me to love it, but I ended up liking it a lot. But them offering Wastelanders completely free, it was that was
sold.
That, yeah, because that's them saying it may have, if they acknowledge this or not, it was them basically saying sorry, because they've already acknowledged that they released 76 too early. So I think
mistakes were made.
Yeah, mistakes were made. Pete Hines has said it. Todd Howard has said it. They're like, all right, yeah, we get it. It was too early.
Right.
Here's Wastelanders. You pay no extra money. Here is what the game is now. And me and Kyle, Kyle Dempster, right?
Kyle Dempster, yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Him and I, he had never played until Wastelanders, and he's like, this game's amazing. Okay. So he went into at Wastelanders and says, this game has no problems. This game is amazing. This is so much fun. I can't believe people hated it before. Wow. And I was like, well, you didn't play it before. If you would have played it, and he acknowledges that. He's like, yeah, I get, like, he sees the hate from before. Because it had problems. I mean, it was trash the first few months. They worked out the kinks. It got good.
Yeah. And I just to what you were just saying, I watched a lot of streamers stream it for the first month, and they wanted so badly to love the game.
Yeah.
And they still kind of did, even with all of the flaws.
Oh yeah.
They still will say, like, I had a blast playing that game, even with crashing or whatever happened all the time. These little things that, the little bugs that just built up over time in their minds. Yep. They still just found themselves enjoying the space that they were in.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually it just, like, became too much, I don't really feel like dealing with this right now. I'll come back to it whenever they get it figured out.
The term that I use, and you may have seen me say it on Twitter, Wastelanders is what and when Bethesda should have released the game. So they shouldn't have released it when they did. They should have waited until Wastelanders to release it at the beginning, because it's where the game's at now. It's completely changed now.
So let me ask you this from an outsider's perspective, because again, I've not played it at all, pre-Wastelanders or not. So other than adding NPCs, what else has changed? So
there's been some performance improvements. The game looks better. For sure. They have, so before there used to be world events. I'll liken them to dolmens in ESO.
Okay.
Except when the dolmen spawns, you would have to be semi-near it to hear the noise and to know, oh, that dolmen's up.
Right.
But if you were on the other side of the map, like if you were north, the farthest north on the map you could get, and the farthest south dolmen spawned, you wouldn't know unless someone in zone chat called it out. So what Fallout 76 did is when these world events would spawn, it would create a prompt to you in your upper left-hand corner saying, hey, this event has started.
Okay.
So you would be able to, and on top of it, you would be able to click on it and be like, join event, and it would automatically fast travel you for free straight to that event. So it would be like if a dolmen opened up in Glenumbra on the south side, and you're on the north side, a prompt would show up in ESO saying the Southern Dolmen has spawned. You could click on it, fast travel to it for free, and participate in it and get all the rewards.
I like that idea. I like the thought process.
Yeah,
there.
so it's so good. Well, what they did with Wastelanders is they incentivized that because, yeah, you could get rewards. There was a lot of outfits locked behind events. Like, you couldn't get this outfit anywhere else unless you did this specific event in this specific zone, which is good. I like that. It incentivizes you being in that zone, doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was sort of an incentivization, but now with Wastelanders, there's a new currency that was implemented that whenever you do any of these world events, you get a voucher to buy that currency.
Okay.
So I mean, everybody, it's breathed a new life into it. There's so many.
The currency is totally different than caps.
So yeah, like so there's the caps, and I don't. If I explain it, it will spoil the main story.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to explain it, but I will just say it's different than caps.
Okay. All right.
Caps, you can sell basically most of the stuff you find for caps. You find a weapon, you can go to a vendor and sell it for caps, and she'll buy you that rifle for caps. But there's this other currency that I don't want to spoil it because it's good. And if you're gonna play it, I don't want to spoil it because when I found out, when I played through, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good, because having played the other Fallout games, I was like, what am I gonna expect?
Yeah,
let me tell you this, dude. Wastelanders is worth it. I will say get it.
I'm strongly considering it. I promise.
If you do get it, let me know. I mean. I mostly play with Kyle and his crew on PC.
Yeah,
which is good because we're on a private server. You don't have to worry about griefers in a main server, because it's a problem. So we mostly play on private servers, and it's fun, it's enjoyable, because it's just you and people who you allow to be in that server. Kind of like Minecraft,
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
So I would say
I worry though, because I want to get into it now. I want to be able to easily switch between ESO and something else,
Mm-hmm.
But just to keep things fresh all the time, I need that. I always need that.
Well, and that's.
But I'm so amped for Greymore that I don't know if now's the time for me to get into it. I think I need to wait until maybe my hypeness for Greymore has
You're right, and you're right, because I'm hyped for Greymore too. Like, Greymore is exciting.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm just at a point in ESO right now where I need to take a break, because I knew, last year I had my big break because I got burnt out.
Yeah.
Like, I got burnt out bad, where I was like, I want to quit this game. Like, I just want to put it on the shelf and never go back.
Yeah.
But I've built so many friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's so amazing. I can't do it. So I was like, I'll give it a break. And it was good that I did that. Did Elsewhere.
ESO fam pulls you back in. Just when you think you're out, ESO fam pulls you back in.
Oh, yeah. So Elsewhere was good. Now, I'm doing 76. Once Grey Mode goes live, I'll be back.
Yeah.
So I am going to...
So I wanted to ask someone who plays both ESO and 76.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think... I know that it was really polarizing whenever 76 first came out and there were no NPCs. And your quests were all picked up from these like holotapes or whatever.
Yep.
It was like a love it or hate it. Like, some people loved that and thought it was a really original idea. It was an engrossing story. And then you had, on the flip side, people just like, this isn't Fallout. Fallout has NPCs.
Yeah.
And I wonder too if that is similar to ESO at launch. I think a lot of people, like, we were relatively fresh off of Skyrim, so people heard, this is an Elder Scrolls.
So I see where you're
going. Let me Skyrim with friends.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 is going to be Fallout 4 with friends.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't. No.
Even though it didn't pretend to be Fallout 4 with friends, and Elder Scrolls Online didn't pretend to be Skyrim with friends.
No.
Do you think there are any correlations between those camps?
So I do have a very long explanation. I have to get up and go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
So if you could explain your reservations as to why you didn't start 76 first immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'll be right back.
Okay. So I guess I didn't start Fallout 76 first because, or at launch rather, because it launched. Oh gosh, it launched in the fall, like late fall, right? I forget exactly the date that it launched, but I was so heavily invested in Elder Scrolls Online, and so I don't have a whole lot of time to game, which sounds weird for someone who streams, but essentially whenever I'm streaming, that's my game time. I don't really have too much other time to play games outside of my time to stream. So I didn't think I had a whole lot of time to really invest myself in a new MMO because I mean all of you who are watching are probably MMO players. It takes a lot of time to get into the world, to get invested in the game, to learn the game, to get good at the game. And so I didn't think I had enough time to do ESO and get my ESO fix and also learn this whole new world of Fallout 76. Now that being said, I love the idea of Fallout 76 being set in West Virginia because I live in Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania. I am just a couple of hours drive away from like all of those places that are in game, and that fascinates me. And
Totally
that's
back,
actually
by the way.
Oh, you're back. Awesome. Yeah, I was just saying how I love the area that Fallout 76 is in because I'm familiar with some of those places.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
the New River Gorge, the bridge. I've driven over the New River Gorge
Oh,
bridge
really?
countless times. It's an amazing place. An amazing place. And
So
whenever I saw that was in the game,
yeah,
I loved it.
it's cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So to answer your question, I am of the very few people. I don't want to say very few. There's a lot of people. It may seem like a very few amount of people enjoyed 76 before, but there's actually a lot of people. I'm friends with a lot of the people on Twitter in the Fallout 76 Twitter community. It's very similar to ESO, the ESO fam. There's a lot of people. I mean, I was gonna name a few, but I drew a blank instantly. Anyway, there's a lot of good people in the Fallout 76 community on Twitter that really enjoyed the game. So here's my take on it. So Fallout 76 takes place 25 years after the bombs fell.
Okay.
So it's only been 25 years as opposed to the other Fallout games was a long time.
They're way further past,
Yeah, way further. So it's literally 25 years. That's it. So like people who were there when the bombs dropped were like, if you were 20, you're only 45.
Yeah.
And you meet some of those people. But I'm gonna dance around this because I mean it's kind of spoilery. It's kind of spoilery, but not so much anymore because of how Wastelanders is.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it. So when you walk out of the vault in Fallout 76, you're like, okay, you kind of get pointed in the right direction, and you go there, and you're like, okay, you realize everybody died here, and there's a good story explanation as to why they died.
Okay.
And as you start moving around more, you realize, okay, it's not just this town. It's everybody in the area, and then, it's not this town, it's this county that was affected.
Yeah.
And then once you get a little bit further, you're like, oh, it was these 3 or 4 counties that were affected by this. This is why everybody's dead. And they have a very good lore explanation. Now, this is original Fallout 76 before Wastelanders. Bethesda explained flawlessly why no one was alive, why you were the only person. The story made sense, and it felt good to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever seen the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith?
Yes. Yeah, I have.
Okay, so in the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith, he was the only human in New York City, right? Yeah, makes sense. You remember that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he was the only human in New York City, and there was a good explanation to it. It was just him. He was alone, and then there was these zombies, I guess,
Yeah.
in I Am Legend. I mean, they weren't
Right. Yeah,
zombies. They were
they
just
were kind of zombie-like. Yeah.
yeah. It was the virus in I Am Legend, whatever, just kind of caused you to lose your hair. You couldn't go out in sunlight. Anyway, very
Yeah.
similar to how Fallout 76 was, and it made sense, and
Okay.
it added a sense of eeriness to the game
Yeah.
that I never got from any other Fallout game. Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4.
Right.
Never.
And that's one thing that isn't like you know you're never alone in the single player Fallout game.
Yeah, you
And
know
I
there's
do-
someone always around the corner.
Yeah, someone's always there. And I do remember talking to people who played 76 at launch who said like you feel truly alone.
You do. And to me, that added to the game because
Yeah.
there was this it was almost a sense of dread, like it's like yeah, you would be in this world where there would be other people playing in the server. But they were from their stories, they were also from the vault you just left. But, it was honestly, it was few and far between. You'd run into them here and there, but it wasn't anything crazy. Unless you had pre-established friends, but I played, I didn't really have anyone to play with at the beginning. So it literally felt like you were alone, and to me that just added to the aesthetic of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make everything feel really creepy to me.
It was really creepy, and then like you'd hear gunfire, and you could look on your map, and you would be able to tell if there was a player near you or not.
Okay.
So when you would look on your map after hearing gunfire and not see a player near you, you'd be like, okay, shit. There'd be the pucker factor, and you'd be like, who's fighting what? And, the super mutants would be fighting the threat that is in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's good. I like it. And I think if you were to pick it up and start playing it now, I think you would enjoy it more than if you were to have played it at launch, for sure.
Yeah? Okay. So I guess so you feel pretty strongly that Wastelanders has changed the game for the better.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely yes. The answer to that question is yes.
Okay.
To me, to elaborate on it, I say it on Twitter a lot. The game has done a 180. Completely changed. It's funner now. I liked it with the single player I'm alone experience because I was like, this is creepy. I like this. This is very enjoyable. However, it's more enjoyable now with NPCs, knowing that you may be alone walking up the road for 30 minutes, but you're gonna run into someone. Whether it be raiders, being like, hey, what are you doing here? Pay us the toll. Now, what they did good with this is not all raiders are like, hey, I'm gonna kill you, evil. You're kind of like raiders, like there's like the raiders at the middle ground where they're like, yeah, we're bad, but we're not gonna kill you. We'll extort you for money. This, that. Yeah. Now there's a fringe group of the raiders, which is they kill everybody. This fringe group of the raiders will kill raiders. Like they're like the wildest sect of raiders that's out there. Even if you side with the raiders, these NPCs will still attack you because they're trying to, which adds to the dynamic. It's like rival gangs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It adds
like rival gangs.
Yeah, so there's there's good raiders, bad raiders. They did so good with this game. I'm telling you, man, it's completely changed for the better. Did a 180. The reviews are up. It's looking good, man.
I think it's probably only a matter of time before I actually get the game and play it.
Yeah.
I think I'll wait. I'll probably wait until after Greymore comes out and I can get through that.
Probably a good idea.
And then I'll probably launch into 76. When I do, I will reach out to you because I'm going to be lost. I'm going to have no idea what I'm doing.
So, how much time you got? We're over the hour. Are you good? Can we keep talking?
Oh, are we over the hour? Really? Has it
Yeah,
been?
yeah, yeah. We're
Wow.
14 minutes over the hour.
Wow. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
long
Cut me
as, long
off
as
when
you
you
still want me.
if you gotta go. Let me know. But I
I do
wanted to
not.
get your opinion on Greymore. Like, where are we standing for ESO and Greymore?
Yeah, man. So I have not jumped into PTS, and I've watched only a couple of people stream PTS content, and mostly because I was interested in what the antiquities were all about, that whole antiquity system that's going to be new.
Yeah.
So I know nothing about the story, and outside of the prologue quest, I haven't seen anything from Blackreach yet.
Okay. Cool.
I like to keep a lot of that
Same.
stuff fresh. So I'm really excited about antiquities. I mean, I'm excited to go back to Skyrim. I think everybody is. You know, it's gonna be such nostalgia for everybody who played Elder Scrolls V Skyrim,
Yeah.
and going back to Solitude, which is such an iconic area. Like that whole city is so iconic. And from what I've been talking to from everyone who has been playing PTS, they say that the layout of the city is the same. Like you'll walk into Solitude and just find yourself walking and knowing where you're going if you've played Skyrim, which I love. I love that. And it has to be different. It has to fit in the MMO space. It has to fit into the universe that ZOS has built for Elder Scrolls. So I get that, not everything can be exactly the same. But everything that I have seen so far is that you're going to feel at home in Greymore if you've played Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Everything is a little bit darker than what you might be used to, which I'm kind of fine with. And so, like elsewhere, it's kind of hard to have a dark storyline with Khajiit because they're cute, they're funny, they're
Absolutely.
witty.
I
You
agree.
know? Even though like dragons are here and they want to melt your face off, it's still Khajiit, and they crack jokes while their face is getting melted off. So it's kind of hard to, it's like kind of hard to be like, doom and gloom about it, you know.
Yeah.
But like Nords don't, it's easy to be doom and gloom with Nords. Just naturally, the space that they're in is gloomy,
Oh
It's
yeah.
snowy
Of
and
course.
cold. So I'm really excited to just dive back into that physical space of Skyrim,
Cool.
and the story. So I play any game that I play. I'm really looking for a good story that I can immerse myself in, and I think I'm really looking forward to diving into this new story of Greymore, whatever it is. I mean, they've kept the mystery alive, which is good. And the prologue was, a good little bit. We're going to give you some nuggets here, but obviously we're not going to spoil any beans just yet. So I'm full on hyped, I guess you could say. Especially now that we have an official launch date for it.
Yeah.
I'm full on the hype train of Greymore.
Good. Yeah. I'm excited for it too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be different. I am
Yeah.
trying my best to avoid spoilers. I did not do the PTS. Because I'll spoil it for myself if I do the PTS. So
Me too.
I'm
And
like, you
that's
know
what I
what? I'm
don't.
just gonna leave
Yeah.
it be.
Yeah. I'll let it go. I'll be surprised when it comes out. Yeah. I don't want to spoil it for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. But do you think ESO has kind of gotten I don't want to say a lot of hate, but there was just everybody's kind of seems up in arms about combat lately with ESO. I don't know if you've noticed
Yeah,
that.
you're right. I think and some of the changes that have been proposed or will be implemented in the game are, I guess, somewhat controversial or are rubbing people the wrong way. They're testing out the changes to the heavy attacks and the light attacks and medium attacks, and that enraged people. And the change to the maelstrom, the arena weapons and stuff like that, to the perfected sets.
That
Uh,
was
that
drama.
was a lot of drama. That was
That
a
was there
lot
were
of
that was a
drama.
firestorm on Twitter for what, like a good solid week about that. Like,
Yeah, there was a
yo, where?
lot of it. There
Yeah.
was a lot of it. And I try so all of the firestorm hate on social media. So for my job, I manage social media accounts for my job.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
so I know that the people who rage tweet and the people who are just generally enraged on social media are the vocal minority. So I
True.
think that the the large player population probably doesn't really care that a lot of these changes are proposed or will be made.
I don't
But
care.
because yeah, right. And I don't either. And I think I approach the game from a very casual perspective because I'm forced to with my schedule, you know? I
Mm-hmm.
can't I just can't log into the game every day. I
Absolutely.
can't devote as much time to it so that I can be an end game, veteran trial player. That's just not me. That's not how I get my enjoyment out of the game.
Yeah.
So like some of these changes to Vet Maelstrom Arena, like I have never completed Vet Maelstrom Arena before. So I don't have the set that a lot of the veteran players who have run it 600 times, and they had to run it 600 times to get the RNG to get the weapon drop that they needed. um, I can maybe understand their frustration with it, but that's not me. So these changes don't affect me at all. So it's easy for me to not really worry about them because they don't affect me. Maybe I would have a completely different mindset if they did affect me. But I think that is the beauty of me being such a casual player, is that most of the time these changes don't affect me hardly at all, and if they do, it's so minimal that I don't even really notice it. I mean, the only time that I remember noticing a change, like a big change, was when they like heavily nerfed a lot of the AoE
Mm-hmm.
skills. So like my main tune is he's a stamina nightblade. So I had a lot of AoE skills that I had to swap out and then kind of learn a new rotation a little bit. But I got it. It wasn't that big of a deal. I figured it out. It's okay. And I'm still playing the game and I'm getting joy out of it. So ultimately, was that a minor inconvenience for a day? Yeah, but it's fine. And I still like it. So, yeah. So a lot of the rage, I think a lot of the rage comes from, again, the vocal minority.
And I
And,
think I
and
think what the rage comes from, honestly, and this is just my opinion, and I'll probably get shit for it for saying it, but I'm gonna say it because you're right. It's not that big of an inconvenience. It'll be inconvenient for a day. Then once you get everything figured
yeah.
out, you'll get back in your groove. You'll be good. It's because they've
Hmm.
perfected it, whatever their build is, to the point where they're able to do really good, and then they have to adjust it. Which they
Yeah.
can adjust it to be just as good, but I think just
Hmm.
the act of having to adjust it is what pisses them off. I think that's where most of the
Yeah.
rage comes from.
I
It
think
is
you're
a
right. I mean,
minority, I agree,
yeah, I mean, we're
because
humans. We're humans. We like to resist change. I mean, I've never met a person who just loves change,
yeah,
and especially when you've put in a lot of work to get something to where you're happy with it, to now you have to change that, and it's because of nothing you did.
yeah.
If that makes sense, like,
No, it makes sense. Yeah, totally.
so like now all of a sudden you have to relearn something, or you have to
Mm-hmm.
change what you have perfected, and I can understand why there would be frustration there, but like flat out rage and anger, especially on social media. Again, this is coming from someone who manages a social media, many social media accounts for an institution. I just don't get it, man. Why do you put in so much effort to be angry on social media?
Some people put a lot of effort into it, man. A lot of effort
A
into it. It's
lot of
crazy.
effort into it.
It's
Yeah,
it's
it
it's it's
takes all of me
exhausting
not
to
to be like,
read.
man, just relax.
Oh, chill, just hang out.
Yeah, right.
Just be cool.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man, it's wild. It's wild. Social media is insane. It's wild times we live in. But
yeah.
It's
And
just
I've
something we
said,
gotta adapt with. So
and yeah, and I've been saying this for years now too. Like if I didn't have to be on social media for my job, I would probably delete my Facebook account and maybe some of my other accounts. I really
yeah,
could do without them.
I quit Facebook about 2-3 years ago. I think. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
pieced into
envy
that.
you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was. Ooh, I was done. I'm done.
yeah.
I'm a better person for it now, and I
Oh,
enjoy
yeah.
it. So,
I am.
hey, let's see. We talked about beer. We talked about current events. We talked about video games. I want to ask you a
Yeah.
question. What is your, and usually what I do with every guest, this is what I do with everybody,
All right.
is I like to close out the podcast with your favorite. Now, you don't have to believe it, you don't have to be invested in it, but
Okay.
everybody knows what a conspiracy theory is. We talked about them a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah.
But and this can be any conspiracy theory from George Washington cutting down the apple tree, okay, to George Bush eating babies to become immortal. Like it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
it could be anything in between.
Okay.
Like what is your favorite conspiracy theory? Like I said, you don't have to believe it, but what is most entertaining to
Yeah.
you that you like the most? That is most intriguing to you?
Well, so I said earlier that I'm a big history nerd. I love anything to do with history.
Of course, yep.
And I think one of these conspiracy theories that is really ingrained in the historical factor is this whole thing with Freemasonry and how they're like the Freemasons are secretly running the world, and that
Mm-hmm.
Freemasons are a modern extension of the Knights Templar, and they
Mm-hmm.
are keeping the Holy Grail,
Yep.
hidden
Oh
somewhere,
no,
in
that's a
like
real
their
one. Yeah.
grand temple in Philadelphia or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I don't believe any of that is true, but I find it fascinating, and God, I hope some aspects of it are true. I've talked to my wife multiple times because I know you have to, like, that's invite only to be a
Oh yeah.
Freemason. You can't just like go and sign up at your local lodge, you have to be invited.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, what do I have to do to get an invite into that group? And how
Mm-hmm.
long do I have to be there before I can be like, okay, so where's Jimmy Hoffa, guys? Uh, can you tell me where the Holy Grail is yet or not?
Yeah. No, that's a good one because
Uh,
that is
yeah.
I believe that they are very involved in a lot of things because if you walk around any older city,
Hmm.
and I say older because you know what, not even older city because the city I live in, the building I work in right now, that was the new building I work in that was just built in like 2010 was when it was built. There's a
Yeah.
cornerstone that's got it's got the Freemason logo and everything on it, but there's no association with
Really?
any. It has the Freemason logo. The cornerstone has the
Huh.
Freemason logo.
Okay. That's
Okay,
interesting. You said it was
why?
built in
And
2010.
it was
Yeah,
built in
that's
2010. But you can go to these
wow.
older
Okay.
cities if you walk for Boston, for example, because I'm accustomed with it. I've been there. You can go to
Yeah.
most buildings in Boston. Look at the cornerstone. It's got the Freemason symbol.
Yeah, I noticed that. I went to Boston a couple years ago for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and just like walking around, I mean, you just mosey around the city, you get lost, and then you come upon some like really
Yeah.
special American artifact.
It's got the Freemason symbol on it.
Yeah, and it's
It's
everywhere.
one
It's
it's one
everywhere.
block in the foundation, and it's usually universal for all of it. It's the same thing. Like, but they have no other investment. I mean, they, probably behind the scenes they do, but
Yeah.
they have a stake in it. Why? Because these two buildings have no correlation to each other, but the Freemasons
Yep.
have a stake in it for
Freemason
whatever
logo
reason,
there. Yeah. And
which leads
so
to
I
them,
I thought too.
controlling everything.
Yeah, right. And so with all of these like History Channel documentaries and stuff like that, we're gonna declassify all of this stuff, and then they never actually discover anything new.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but all they talk about is how the majority of the founding fathers of the United States were Freemasons, and they laid out the city of Washington D.C. to look like the Freemason symbol and all of this stuff. And at the time I'm watching this, I'm thinking like, yeah, it was the 1700s. They had nothing else to do. They were just really into this club that they were all in, Like, what else are they going to spend their time with? They're not playing video games. I guess they could read all their same books again. Like, we got to find fun somehow. Let's just get really invested in these societies,
Yeah.
And like, we don't really, I guess, I'm sure some people do that nowadays, get really invested in these secret societies and stuff. But I feel like maybe we have more stuff to do now. So the general population of America just doesn't have time to get invested in that kind of stuff. But what do I know? Apparently they're still putting cornerstones in buildings in 2010. So
Yep.
maybe it is all one big connected conspiracy.
When I get back there next week, I'll send you a picture of it. It's interesting, man.
Yeah,
it's super interesting. It's crazy, but no, that's a good one. I'm glad you chose that one because Freemasonry.
And another thing I love, and it's not really a conspiracy theory per se, but
it might be.
I am fascinated by Sasquatch.
He's real. I'll tell you that he's real.
I think Sasquatch is real.
Absolutely.
If I were to believe a conspiracy theory, I would believe in Bigfoot.
I mean, why not? I mean, there's the OG video, which I don't think ever was debunked by anybody. You know which one I'm talking about? The one video of him, like, yeah, that was. I don't think that was ever debunked.
Yeah, and like all of the stuff with the Loch Ness monster, I feel like has been pretty much proven to be false at this point.
Yeah,
but the Bigfoot is probably because there's so many cultures. Like, Loch Ness is confined to Scotland. Like, you can't find Loch Ness anywhere else.
No.
But there are alleged Bigfoot sightings all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
In different cultures and different backgrounds. And Native Americans have stories about them. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's more realistic. That's something I can get behind.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. The world is weird, man. I will tell you that.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
Freemasonry. That was. I'm surprised. I'm glad. Not surprised. I'm glad you chose that one because that one. I think it's deeper than we think.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of if you look around, a lot of very prolific people were Freemasons. And you hear a lot of story about like Skull and Bones. Like the Bushes were in Skull and Bones, and I think Skull and Bones has ties to Freemasonry, and it's. Okay. I think, me personally, I believe Freemasonry is deeper than we even think it is in our country.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's super deep stuff, but I don't want to get down a rabbit hole.
Like to the point of controlling the currency because
absolutely.
All of the Freemason. Yeah. Okay.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But who knows, really, because there's so much stuff out there.
Right, yeah, who knows? But it's fun to speculate. I just want to know, like, how long do you have to be a Freemason, and what do you got to do to get an invite into the room where they're keeping all their secret relics?
Well, and, I think, there's... family has an in... Because, there's Freemasons, and then there's the Masons, which are different from the Freemasons.
Yeah.
But the Masons are still an offshoot. My brother-in-law, who was here like 2-3 hours ago, he's a Mason. He's not a Freemason, but he's a Mason, and he was, which is also invite only, but he was only invited because his father was, and his father was also. It's a branch of them, but it's still very invite only, and he's only in it because his family has been for as far back as they can trace it.
And so is he like NDA, like he can't tell you anything?
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he can't say anything. He's got a ring and everything, and it's not Freemasons, but they're associated. I'm 90% sure.
But what makes me skeptical is, and maybe not skeptical, because there's probably like a very small group of people within those organizations who really knows anything. Because for how many Masons and Freemasons there are spread out throughout the country, like someone would have spilled the beans by now, you know? Someone would have got drunk in a pub and
Yeah.
opened their mouth a little too much,
True.
and
Yeah,
then
very
we
true.
all would know all of these things. So they got to keep like the real secret stuff to just a handful of people.
Yeah. Which I think you're right. I mean,
yeah,
because there's a lot of different things where people could talk and spill things, and I'm gonna use, and this is getting deep. But hey, okay, so the Kennedy assassination. So Lee Harvey.
Yeah.
The narrative that we all agree on is Lee Harvey Oswald shot John F. Kennedy from the book depository window, right?
Right. Yeah.
And assassinated the president.
Mm-hmm.
So, why did Jack Ruby shoot and kill Lee Harvey Oswald? You know what I mean?
Right.
Why did that happen? So the narrative is, well, he, you killed my president, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Well, let's get crazy about
I'm angry for what you did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you killed the president I love, so I'm going to kill you. Well, let's get crazy about it. So, Lee Harvey Oswald is known to have gone to Mexico prior to the assassination. Okay. Some accounts, he is also known to go to Cuba prior to the assassination, which is where we had a lot of our problems leading up to the assassination with the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that.
Right. Missile Crisis and everything, yeah.
His passport says that's where he went and that's where he's been. So, they try to say, okay, yes, he went to Cuba. He's a Russian sympathizer because Cuba they were allied with Russia at the time. He's a Russian sympathizer. That's why he shot and killed Kennedy. Well,
right.
People think it was part of, Kennedy was very against a lot of different policies that were put forth. They were like, hey, we need to do this. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So a lot of people think it was an inside job. And therefore, Lee Harvey Oswald was also, an inside man assassinating Kennedy. But Lee Harvey Oswald was going to squeal and let everybody know, hey, this is the deal. So they're like, all right.
Right. We got to take care of this.
He's about to talk. We need to take care of it. Yeah. Put our man in, Jack Ruby. So Jack Ruby goes in and kills him. Well, a lot of people don't know, Jack Ruby died while he was incarcerated after.
Okay.
And it was
I was just going to ask, did he, I feel like he passed away. Yeah.
He passed away in jail. They say it was cancer. Well, there was a program run by scientists in Louisiana about being able to... It was an experimental program of being able to inject cancer through a needle into people. And a lot of people think that Jack Ruby was, that's basically what happened to him, because when his last days he went crazy. He said, they're injecting me with stuff. He was going off the deep end, but the thing was, he was saying was, I'm being injected with stuff that I don't know what it is. And he died days later.
Wow. Okay.
So, I mean, that's the rabbit hole, which I knew we were going to get into, but I think the bottom line is conspiracy theories are crazy. Whatever you believe, but it gets you thinking.
Yeah. It does get you thinking. Yeah, it does get you thinking. Like, back when I was in college, I watched a documentary, and I don't remember the name of it now, but I watched a documentary about September 11th and how that whole thing was a massive government conspiracy. Mm-hmm. And even after watching the documentary, I wasn't buying it. I just can't get behind that as any kind of conspiracy theory. And some other like larger conspiracy theories. I don't know, like even what happened to Amelia Earhart,
Yeah.
Like she probably just crashed in the Pacific Ocean, just
yeah.
there's no larger conspiracy there, I don't think. Like no one's covering anything up.
No.
At least I don't think. But yeah. I think the Freemasons, there could potentially be something there. I don't know if they're an offshoot of the Knights Templar. I don't know if they have the Holy Grail in their possession, but I think you're right in that.
Would be cool if let's be real. That would be cool if they did.
It would be awesome.
That would be
totally
amazing.
awesome. Yeah, it would be amazing if that were the case.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right.
If aliens were real, that would be friggin' cool. Like if I could find out in 2020 that aliens were real and the Knights Templar were still a thing and they had the Holy Grail, I could die happy, man.
It would almost make up. Yeah, it would almost make up for this coronavirus thing,
it would. No, it totally would. I'd be like, all right, we're good. We're straight.
Yeah, 2020 would have redeemed itself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Yep.
Man, I'll tell you what, it has been a thanks for coming on, man, because I know for
absolutely.
the last couple of years, I think you and I have both been like, yeah, let's do something, and it's just never happened, and we finally able to get a thing going.
We needed the proper platform, and now you have the proper platform.
I think we're good to go, and what I want to do is and we'll talk offline more about it, but I want to mail you these beers from this small brewery here, and us do this again.
Yeah, I would love it.
A couple weeks down the road with the beer, from this brewery here. I think that would be really, really cool.
Definitely. I would absolutely love it.
Yeah,
I'm always game to try beers from other breweries.
Yeah,
especially from places I may never get to, like from down in Texas, So,
yeah.
I'm game.
Okay, cool. Well, man, thanks for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it because this is, like I said, this is episode 3. We're just getting off the ground. We're doing our best with it, and I think it's good. I like it. I like that we're not just pigeonholed into one topic. We can just literally talk about anything here and be good.
Yeah,
so.
No, it's a lot of fun bouncing around. Yeah, it's great.
So
I had a great time.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for coming on, guys. MacAttack on Twitter. He's Pixel Pints. He's a Twitch affiliate. Follow him on Twitch. Follow him on Twitter. And if you like beer and video games, he's your guy. I'm telling you. Give him a follow. The beer was good. We had a good time. I will see you guys next week. I'm trying to up the episodes, but I don't know what's going on with that. So, anyway, guys, we will see you all later, and we are out of here. Goodbye.